motherfucking trailer.
Would you like to see Gorosaurus versus Man, the solo trilogy from Toho? No, I would not, because nobody gives a shit about those two monsters. So let's be real, honestly. With the exception of a handful of Toho monsters, a lot of them really suck.
Whatever it takes to stop the motherfucking lie.
Look at this guy's got glasses. Oh, a sophisticated zombie.
I heard Rodan's in here. I don't know if I don't know if I missed him.
I missed Rodan. On top of the volcano, I missed Rodan. Flying over the water, I missed Rodan. He's been confirmed, established 2014, right here on E.T.N motherfucking N. I have only ever loved one woman. And it ain't you, bitch. Poof. Bye-bye. Have a nice trip. See you next fall, because winter's coming.
I figured, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And number one is Godzilla. Godzilla?
Motherfucker. Motherfucking trailer.
All right. All right. Sorry, I was saying night to my kids. That was one of them. That was pretty good. What's going on, guys? All right, it's Conspiracy Theory Thursdays. Oh, she's got something in her mouth. And my dog is acting like a fool. Come here, girl. Reagan. Raven. Come here. Come here. Yeah, she's not gonna come over here. She know. You got. Come here. Come here.
Come on. Everyone's waiting to see you.
Come. Up. She's like, forget that.
I'm going to. And I'm going to go find something else I can put my
She's not saying hi to you guys anymore.
Because she hates so.
It's not true. Go to bed.
Your stuffy's in her bed.
All right, what's going on, Chris? Ooh, Chris, 2 nights in a row. I feel honored.
Woo.
You want to talk about old school? Chris is old school. All right, so this was heavily requested by Michael Gonzalez, because he's only been asking me to do this for like 6 months. And nobody else really seemed to come up with anything for today. So by default, we get Mike's choice. Although for me, I could talk about aliens and UFOs every Thursday, personally. But, you know, we don't want to run that well dry. You miss us, guys? I don't think a lot of people in here know you, even though they've been here a while. A lot of them have been here a while, but I don't think they know you. This, actually, the majority of the people in here, Chris, were the silent ODs. These are the people that just decided to start talking like 3 years ago. With the exception of maybe like Nuts. And that's about it, really. I think Nuts is the only one that's been pretty vocal since the beginning. But a lot of people in here that have been here for a while, they weren't very vocal back in the day like you were. So I don't know what made them talk, but I'm glad they have. Otherwise, these streams would be pretty boring with 50 or plus viewers and nobody talking. It would suck. Oh, you came in on February? Okay, so King Venom is pretty early. CIA Mafia double teamed the Kennedy family. Oh, the Michael Bay project? Dude, that's still like the best shit ever. No, it's all right. It's still on the channel. I'm never taking that shit down. I always get a kick out of that. All right. So now look, to be fair, something like this topic, a celebrity following, yeah. Only when there's a Godzilla fever pitch going. Like, we had a bunch of celebrities, legitimate, like, YouTube celebrities in my chat earlier this year, Chris. You missed it. We had Mr. Beast up in here. We had, there was a couple other people I can't remember. I actually didn't know who Mr. Beast was until people were like, oh, my God, Mr. Beast, in the chat. And I was like, who the fuck is Mr. Beast? Meanwhile, the dude's got, like, 53 million subscribers or some crazy shit. Samurai Guy. Well, he's not really... I mean, no disrespect to my boy. I'm talking like, you know. I think Samurai will hit that one day. Yeah, Mike's already into it. He's still talking about the government and FBI and all that. Mr. Unprepared. Oh, Joey actually showed up. Joey just messaged me like shortly before the stream started. He's like, hey, what's going on? He was like, we're getting Tom versus Tom. He said Hardy versus Holland, which he's talking about Venom versus Spider-Man. And I'm like, no shit. No. But then he asked me what I thought about Hawkeye. And I said, I'm about to stream. But if you want to know, you can watch yesterday's stream or you can just pop on. I'm sure I'll go into a Hawkeye rant at some point tonight. You know what's funny? I think Joey and Mike have a lot in common. You guys would probably get along. I'm being, you know, Mr. Beast gained 10 million subs in the last 30 days. That's kind of crazy, and he's already pretty popular. Yeah, I think he got those because he did the Squid Game video. I didn't see it, but apparently that's one of his, I mean, all his videos do well, but apparently that latest one really kind of hit home with people. So, you know, people love Squid Game. Team up is more likely than a versus. Maybe. All right, so Thursdays we do conspiracies. Now, I got to be honest, I don't know very much about this conspiracy other than that people believe it was anyone but the person that they say killed John F. Kennedy. I've heard crazy things like our own government, the Mafia, I've even heard like some of his estranged lovers, like husbands or whatever. You know what I mean? Because he was a bit of a playboy. And even his own party, Democrats didn't really like JFK because he was not very... JFK was more he was a Democratic president, but he was more conservative on some of his legislation. So he didn't get a lot of support in Congress from Democrats. Probably his biggest criticism was that he did not do any civil rights reforms. He would uphold some civil rights laws that were in place, but a lot of those civil rights laws were not really in favor of minorities to begin with. So he got a lot of flack for that, for not taking a stand and redoing a lot of the civil rights laws. What I do like about JFK was that approach that is completely abandoned now by Democrats. Not that they ever wanted it. Democrats have been pretty consistent throughout the years of what they want when it comes to when they run the show. But you guys know he's known for one of his famous speeches, and probably the most famous line from that speech is, "Don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And that's really how it should be, where now we have half the population that's always asking the country to do something for them, because we have a bunch of lazy motherfuckers who want to live off of unemployment and, public welfare programs as opposed to actually going to work. JFK wasn't down with that. However, with that said, he came into presidency when the country was still in a bad recession from World War II. There were a lot of farming revenue was down. There were 4 or 5 million people out of work during this time. And he did do a number of things to stimulate the economy to a point where after his first year, they were out of the recession. So much in the way of what President Trump did. In his first year, during his first term, he had an economic boom that lasted pretty much until he was out of office. And even during the tail end of the pandemic, the economy was a lot better than it is now. I mean, now we're suffering through inflation. We have a possible another recession coming, probably imminent at this point. But the problem with not the problem, but the issue with JFK wasn't his legislation. He kind of exposed his own party to being the racist that they actually were. They were very much against him. They were very much against him changing any kind of, put it this way, they were very much against him putting in any legislation that helped minorities. Democrats were not in favor of, they were not in favor of anything that had to do with benefits of civil rights. They were not in favor of that. And the fact that John F. Kennedy kind of leaned in that favor, they were pretty much against him. He really got no support from them in Congress. He wanted to lower taxes. They never wanted him to. One of the few Democrats in history that wants to lower taxes. He was more, John F. Kennedy today would be a Republican. There's no doubt about that. You put JFK in the current era, he's a Republican, hands down. There's no way he would be a Democrat these days. Not in hell. But on the flip side of his political career, John F. Kennedy had a very controversial personal life. He did a lot of womanizing. His family name is popular by recognition, not by necessarily other things they've done. For example, I don't know if it was his brother or his nephew. There was a controversy where someone in the Kennedy, I think it was Robert Kennedy, I forget his first name, was with a woman. They got into a car crash into a river, and he escaped and let the woman drown just so he could avoid a DWI. That is fact, and obviously he got away with it. That's something that obviously is not very good for the Kennedy name. So, Rob, would you consider JFK in your list of favorite presidents? It's hard to say because he didn't go far enough. Like, I believe if I'm a betting man, let's just say before we even get into the conspiracy theory aspect of this, if I'm a betting man, I think his assassination has a lot to do with not conforming to the Democratic way. I believe, look, whatever your politics are, I'm just giving you my opinion. I want you to know that. But you know, as you guys know, I was in my younger years, I was a Democrat. I voted mostly Democrat. And then I started to converge little by little as I got older, because when you get older and you have kids, and now things that happen in legislation affect your children, then you take a different, it's kind of a different view. Plus, coming from the hood, I started to see just how problematic Democratic policy was to minorities. On the surface, if you don't do your homework on the surface, these programs are great for minorities, right? But a lot of these Democratic programs are designed to keep minorities exactly where they are. Democrats have not changed in their policy, their view has not changed since the inception of the Constitution. They're racist. Okay, let's just call it what it is, all right? And while I'm not saying all of them are racist now, a lot of them still believe in the end-all be-all of maintaining power. They want power. Democrats just want power. And that has not changed in years, all right? And that's not to say Republicans don't. There are a lot of Republicans who have conformed to the establishment ways of what Democrats believe, you know? This is why I think Kennedy might have been killed. I think he was more a patriot. He wanted what was best for the country. His foreign policy was very bold. I'll give him that much. I mean, he did not back down in the face of potential nuclear war. You know, he was an American first kind of president. He really was. And that's why I think, like, yeah, we look back and he was a Democrat, but when you compare what he did back in the day to how things are now, he was more like a Republican than anything else. So, you know, I think that's why a lot of people were disappointed with him when he didn't make any legislative changes to civil rights laws, because a lot of civil rights laws before the civil rights movement kicked into gear did not really benefit minorities. And there were a lot of white people at that time, including the whole Democratic Party, had no interest in changing civil laws. There was a rumor that there was a chance that JFK was going to appoint some African Americans to
You are one awesome
I think it
motherfucker.
was either Congress or a justice, and he was very, very against. Like, the Democrats are very against that.
JFK tipped $5. Hey Rob, hey E.T.N Nation. Before you get into my mystery and hear about me going to spill the beans on aliens, the babushka lady and even the ghost of Christmas past, the truth is, Rob's ex's grandmother blew me away. Oh wait, different blown away story. Or crap.
Oh my God. So, you know, I think he's definitely one of the most, actually, very similar to Trump. He's a very polarizing president. He got a lot of support from minorities, and I think that's another thing that might have led to his death. I also think one of the drawbacks of his presidency is Democrats kind of learned how to gain the minority vote while still trying to maintain their ultimate views. And I think I think a result of that is what you see today, which is a lot of minorities still blindly vote Democrat without reading between the lines, without reading the fine print. And that's just because, God, I hate to say this, but unfortunately there's a lot of people in the hood that are just not smart. And the Democrats know that. And they'll just throw money at them. And as long as they give them money, they'll get their vote. As simple as that. Sucks, but that's just how it is. But I think there's a lot of minorities that are waking up to that now. The internet has, you know, for all its bad things and all of the division it's causing in this country, one of the benefits is that I think a lot of minorities are starting to see what the Democrats are really about. You know, before Democrats could say crazy stuff, and it wasn't as accessible as it is now. Like if Joe Biden had said back in the 50s, and if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, not everybody in the country would have saw that. Not everyone in the country would have saw that. And now a lot of people have, you know. So that's just an example of the benefits of the internet. But let's go on to this assassination. All right. So, let me pull it up here. So I pulled out this. This is a very brief rundown, and then we can dive, because I know some of you guys know about this more than I do. So I want to open it for conversation, and I want to hear what you guys have heard, what you guys believe, based on this core information we have here. So why was JFK assassinated? So there are many who consider John F. Kennedy, the 35th president of the United States, to be one of the most influential presidents within American history, which is very true. His assassination came as a shock to many, not only because of why it occurred, but also because of the way in which it was done. There are many theories as to why John F. Kennedy was struck down in the midst of his presidency. Some believe that he was indeed killed by a sniper, but there are others that believe foul play was involved with the death of JFK. There are those who believe the assassination of JFK was a fully orchestrated plot carried out by the government. Some people believe this because... Night, honey. Some people believe this because there were great discrepancies involving the reports that were compiled by government agencies and local law enforcement in Dallas, where JFK was killed. The level of secrecy around the JFK's death and the conflicting reports made many believe that the government was involved in the assassination. Many people also believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was used as a pawn in the government's plan to assassinate JFK. When the American people are asked about the circumstances surrounding the death of John F. Kennedy, more than half of those people believe that there is a conspiracy linked to JFK's death. And we all know that he was killed by Magneto. There's no question about that. No, actually, Magneto tried to save him. He tried to curve the bullet, but he couldn't, if you guys remember that movie. Some believe that Oswald was an agent of the Soviet Union or was working for one of the local political groups which held anti-Kennedy sentiment and were not in agreement with Kennedy's stands on Cuba, organized crime, or civil rights. So, like I said, civil rights was a big deal. Like I said, I tend to believe more than anything that civil rights had a big deal, had a lot to do with it. I think that had a lot to do with it. As I said, Democrats were not down for minorities back then. And in many ways, they're not down for minorities now. So, really, like I said, the Democrats, if I got to give them one thing, man, if I got to give them one thing over Republicans, number one, they stick together. Number two, they are crafty. They are crafty. They have managed to convince minorities that they're out to help them when, in fact, they're out to get them. You know what I mean? So, President Kennedy was assassinated November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. The president and his wife, Jacqueline, were riding in an open motor coach in Dealey Plaza with the governor of Texas, Mr. Connolly, and the governor's wife, Nellie. The president's motor coach was moving along its scheduled pathway past the Texas School Book Depository onto Elm Street. Once the motor coach reached Elm Street, 3 shots rang out. There are many who were present who report that they thought the 3 shots were backfires from the vehicle. However, they were not. When the president began waving to individuals, the first shot was fired, and those seated in the vehicle with him looked over to find JFK holding his neck and his head. The first bullet hit his upper back, went through his neck, and exited through his throat. Jacqueline Kennedy was by JFK's side at the time. With the help of Secret Service agents, JFK was rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital. Upon arrival at the hospital, it was determined that he had no chance of surviving his injuries. Less than 30 minutes after the incident, JFK was pronounced dead. His body was placed on Air Force One to return to Washington, D.C., and Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in as the 36th President of the United States of America while on Air Force One. JFK's body would later be interned in the East Room and then moved to the Capitol for public viewing. His body was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. The man that was charged with his death was Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald was a former United States Marine who lived in the Soviet Union before returning to the United States. He was an employee at the Texas School Book Depository, which is not very far from the location where JFK was assassinated. Oswald is widely considered to be the person that assassinated JFK. He was captured by Dallas police for the murder of J.D. Tippit, a Dallas police officer on the night of JFK's death, and was later linked to the assassination of JFK. Oswald would never be officially convicted for killing JFK, as a nightclub owner named Jack Ruby shot Oswald on live television as retribution for the assassination of JFK while he was being escorted to a police car by Dallas police. A number of investigations headed by the Dallas Police Department, FBI, and CIA all concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald was the individual that assassinated John F. Kennedy. So one of the conspiracies that came out about Oswald getting killed was that it was a way to kind of, because obviously if he was the fall guy, he's going to talk. And the best way to keep a guy shut from telling the truth, even if most people wouldn't believe him, is to just kill him. Kind of like what happened with Epstein. You know what I mean? So now the conspiracies behind this, if we take Lee Harvey Oswald out of the picture, is, I think, basically the government and the mafia. Now, I lean away from the mafia, and the reason for this is because the mafia didn't really get hammered down by the law until like the 80s. The 80s is really when the mafia was kind of, where federal law enforcement as well as local enforcement, depending on whether it was New York, Chicago, whatever, were really cracking down on organized crime. Obviously, you all know about the story of Donnie Brasco, the undercover FBI agent who was deep undercover and took down, he was so deep undercover and took down so many mafiosos that once he came out of his assignment, he had to go on leave, he had to have his name changed and all that stuff because of retaliation. That's the sort of situation I can see the mafia coming out and doing something like this. The mafia, while they were obviously very violent, mostly were, I don't want to say local. They're more local now than they used to be. But they're also a lot more underground now than they used to be. But they definitely had affairs with government. I'm not saying they didn't. But it doesn't, this draws too much attention if you're in the mafia. And I personally think if there's any conspiracy, is that it was done by the government, specifically the Democratic Party. He was completely. How often do you see Democrats not supporting their own party president in Congress? It almost never happens. And if you have a Democratic president that's going against the grain of what the Democrats believe me, they're going to want you out. So I that's where I lean, you know. With that said, it's probably what it is, which is Lee Harvey Oswald. Because another thing is, how many snipers are actually in the mafia? I mean, honestly. Now, could they hire outside work for this? Sure. If anything, I would lean more towards, Russia being involved than the mafia. So there's just too many things going against. There's just too many things going against the theory for the mafia, in my opinion. He was going to expose the CIA. Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things, but I'm telling you right now, I honestly think it was his home party. And like Mike was saying, when you try to take down the CIA or investigate the CIA, a lot of these guys are in the pockets of Democratic politicians. You know what I mean? Again, just look at what happened in the last 4 years with how much Washington was coming after President Trump, It seemed like everyone was against him. The FBI, the CIA, all these investigations that pulled nothing. In fact, I'm actually surprised there was no assassination attempt on President Trump. Although nowadays it's not very easy to assassinate a president anymore. And the Secret Service take their assignments pretty seriously. And a lot of Secret Servicemen are ex-military. And most military men, they bend towards Republican. Although they're trying to change that now. So, I'm just looking at what else is here. This was a pretty short summary, so yeah, it's one of the more interesting conspiracies because no one will ever really know the truth. When you consider the government lies, when you consider there were conflicting reports, when you do consider the personal lifestyle of JFK, I mean, we can't forget that. He was rolling with the wrong people, you know what I'm saying? And, when you're rolling with people of power, both politically and socially, and you're ruffling some feathers, believe me, someone's going to want you dead. And for all we know, it could be a complete collaboration with social and political powers. So, but it's just too much. It's just obviously there's not enough out there. It's all conspiracy, like we said, and JFK was rolling with so many people that he was very popular. He's very popular. So, other than Mike, because Mike's been chatting nonstop, I want to see what some of you guys have to say about this in chat, what your personal beliefs are. If you ask a hardcore leftist today, they'd probably find a way to blame Trump for that too. Well, yeah, JFK was against CIA, FBI, and was against the Democrats, as you said. I think it was all of them combined. Yeah, Democrats ain't going to pull the trigger, so obviously they're going to go to one of those agencies. And I think it's pretty obvious that those two institutions have always, at least the higher-ups, the CIA and the FBI, their leaders get appointed by Congress, and a lot of them have been, they're Democrats at heart. I mean, look at James Comey. Right? Was it James Comey? Yeah. The dude never played his cards, right? Nobody thought for 1 second Comey was a political hack for the left, especially when you consider what happened to Hillary until Trump became president. And then next thing you know, he wrote a book. Now he's doing all this investigation shit, Yeah, FBI going after Project Veritas. Yep. There is no smoke when a bullet hits someone on impact, so why did some smoke exit the top of his head? Are we sure that no smoke comes out of a wound? I mean, we're talking about gunpowder hitting flesh with extreme heat. I mean... Also, it was in Dallas. Dallas is known to get when did they say? November. So it was November in Dallas. It's known to get cold. It may not necessarily be smoke as it is the steam rising from the warmth of his innards. I hate to say it like that. The government, CIA, and the Mafia had a role in killing JFK. A lot of people hated him. A lot of racist people hated him because he was very much in favor of civil rights. He never took the extra. Imagine, he didn't even take the step to change the laws, and they still killed his ass. Oh, and the Democrat theory has more weight now because of the Biden administration was blocking new info on it. Yeah. Hugh Rob, not to change gears, but you mentioned Epstein. Be a good one for next week. Yeah, that's true. JFK killed his JFK body double to fake his own death and hang out with Hitler in Argentina. Oh, shit. Paleontologist has cracked the case. Why did his wife pull him down with with left hand right before it happened. I think it was from hearing one of the gunshots, because I don't think all the gunshots hit him. I know that at one point she was such in shock by what happened that there, if you see the clip where she's kind of leaning on the back hood of the car, that's actually her trying to pick up his brain pieces and put them back in his head. That's how in shock she was. She literally tried to pick up his brain chunks and put them back in his head. Rob, do you like Joe Biden? No, but I actually feel bad for Joe Biden. I mean, that dude is just, God. I feel bad for him. Let's put it that way. Do I like him? I mean, I don't hate the guy. I don't really like or dislike politicians. I'm very indifferent about them. I don't vote. I don't decide on emotion. So the whole like and dislike, like, you know, it's like, so you see how people go crazy for Trump. So like, if I say I'm a Trump, like when I say I'm a Trump supporter and there's people in chat that go crazy about that, I mean, I supported Trump while he was president. He's not president anymore. So you don't see me like going rah, rah Trump, because, you know, I chose Trump because of his legislation, not because he's Donald Trump. I can give a shit who's president. Just do your job. You know what I mean? Just legislate, take care of the country, protect our rights, take care of foreign policy. You know what I mean? For me, it's not a like or dislike. These motherfuckers ain't coming to my house for dinner. All right? They're not going to call me and ask me how my kids are. So I could give two shits about them personally. But when I vote for them, be it Democrat or Republican, they better do the job that I voted them in for. Pretty simple. The paleontologist, one day I will tell you who it is. Wait. I simp for someone else that you don't know. So now again, this conspiracy, I mean, you can really dig deep into this shit. And this is kind of like the one that Mike was trying to tell me to do today, which was the Hitler one. I mean, something like this with JFK's assassination really needs a deep dive. You know, there's a lot of when it comes to government conspiracies, you got to deep dive like hard body. You know what I mean? For example, like the 9/11 one. You know, there's two sides to that tale. When it first happened, I was very much on the side that it was government involved. There was a lot of interesting evidence that people were putting out there. There were a lot of questionable things. But at the end of the day, when you look at the other side of the pendulum, there's a lot of evidence that proves otherwise. You know what I mean? Our government is not that great. You know, I think we all know that, and I think I'm being kind when I say that. But if our government was really in the interest of killing its own people, I think 9/11, I think something worse than 9/11 would have happened by now. For all the shit this government does, for all the bullshit it spews, and for all the questionable people that have died working for the government in odd situations, a la JFK, I really don't think this government is out to kill people en masse. Control us? Absolutely. I think that's more evident now than ever. But I don't think they're out to kill thousands of people. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, they did it because they wanted to start a war. They needed something to start a war. Look, the United States can always come up with some bullshit story to convince you why it needs to go to war. Killing people is not one of them. So, whoa, look who's here. WTF. The vaccine killed JFK? Yeah, Reagan was almost murdered. I remember seeing that on TV when it happened. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's kind of when I started touching on politics, when I was that young, like, you know, like 8 or 9, obviously I didn't know anything, but I used to ask my father because I really liked Ronald Reagan. Like I just thought he was a great president. And it turns out as I got older and I learned more, he was a fantastic president. JFK was a good president too. He was. You know, I mean, there's some obviously legislation that he believed in that I don't think I would have supported. But if I was living at that time, based on his overall policy and based on his patriotism, I probably would have voted for him. Definitely. His personal life was just as controversial as Bill Clinton or Donald Trump. You know what I mean? But who gives a shit? That's their personal life. I don't give a shit about that. Like, I understand there's supposed to be a certain image upheld when you're the president, but let's be realistic, man. These people are still human. You know what I mean? Like, I thought the funny, you know, when President Trump was running the first time against Hillary, to me, that was the best entertainment TV. Because my mindset at the time was, I'm not voting for either one of these fucks. She's a crazy bitch, and he's a TV reality star. I'm not voting for these two fucks. You know, that was my first, despite the fact that I like some of the things Trump said, and he made me laugh with some of his antics, I didn't take him seriously the first time around. I didn't vote for his ass. So when remember the whole story about grabbing by the pussy? When I saw how people reacted to that, I said, what do you think men talk about when they're not around women or when they don't think they're being recorded? I mean, are we all supposed to expect that we're all goody two-shoes? No. I mean, I've been in locker rooms with football teammates and baseball team. We talked about the raunchiest shit, okay? When men are alone together and they're talking, they talk about the raunchiest stuff you could. If you're, Omni's probably the only woman in chat right now. And I will tell Omni this, because Omni and me are around the same age, and I'm sure she knows how bad men probably talk when they're amongst themselves. And I can tell Omni, take that and then multiply it by 10, because it's actually worse than that. It's bro talk, exactly. So, like, and look, does it look good for a president or potential president to walk around saying grab women by the pussy? No. But is it unrealistic to think that come on. Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office. You think he's not talking about grabbing women by the pussy when he was by himself with his boys? You telling me that if Bill Clinton's sitting in the Oval Office with Secret Service and he's like, yo, I just got a blowjob from this intern right down that Monica? Shit, man. I'm ready to put it in that ass. You going to tell me that wasn't a potential conversation going on between Bill Clinton and the Secret Service homies in the Oval Office one day? I mean, before a press conference or some shit? Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. One highest official of the JFK admin said that Kennedy wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. Months later, they had his brain scattered. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Mike, you said that earlier. I'm sorry I read it. You know, you really know when people want you to read something they wrote when they write it multiple times. JFK wife wanted to eat his brains. You know, WTF, I don't miss you. I just want you to know that. I don't miss you. Oh my God. See, you could tell Chris hasn't been here in a long time. Chris actually likes Mike's humor. Chris, just come around more often. Your opinion on Mike's going to change very fast. That's true. Omni does talk just as nasty. Lenny told me stories, Omni. So sorry. Don't worry. I won't share it with chat, but I know. He told me about your pillow talk after, you know. And Chris Carter, brah. Yeah, so, yeah, JFK assassination, very unfortunate. But that's why we have extra security now. That's why, if you notice, like, Secret Service don't play that shit no more. You notice no president ever has a viewing like that on a moving car. Every time you see them, they're in that tank mobile. Looks like a regular car, but that shit is no joke. You could throw a nuke at that. That shit ain't exploding. Assassination attempts still happen. Putin has over hundreds of assassination attempts on him. Well, yeah, but I mean, I can understand why. You know, he's a dictator. What do you expect? Believe me, if we had a president that started becoming like a dictator, there'll be crazy motherfuckers out there trying to fucking. I mean, look, the crazy people who thought President Trump was a dictator. How about that dude that jumped the White House fence and was running across the lawn to try to get into the White House when Trump was still president? I mean, this is why you don't put emotions into politics. You gotta be ice cold about politics, man. People get too emotional about it. Like I see people the way they are now, and it's like, Jesus Christ, these people don't give a shit about you one way or the other. Like, even if I vote for someone who does great legislation, I'm still telling myself, this guy don't give a fuck about me. And why should he? He doesn't know me. We have a dictator in office. No, what we have in office is a senile old man who's not technically running this country. All right? He's not running this country. All right, dictators know how to, they know how to speak. They can comprehend. They don't stutter. What we have right now is just sleeping Magoo and off. Yeah, we have a man that's like, the car's moving, but nobody's at the wheel. And that's unfortunate. Like, it's almost like that dude was forced to be president. He's like, look, I know you're senile and you have dementia. We'll keep it under wraps. Just go out there and try your best. We'll take care of the rest. That's really what it is. The last president who tried to be a real president was JFK. After him, I think the presidents have been puppets for the corporations who generously donated to their campaign. That's not necessarily true, though, because if you look at a breakdown of donations that go to politicians and to campaigns, 90% is all Democratic donations, all of them. I even went through a list not too long ago. We had this conversation. I went through a list, and like the top 5 donating. Out of the top 5 donating corporations in this country, 4 of them went to Democratic campaigns. So, and then you look at somebody like Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, he obviously had his own issues. He had his own, every president's had a controversy. But Ronald Reagan.
You are one awesome motherfucker.
Ronald Reagan was, I mean, every person in this country loved him.
Akno Goji tipped $5. What up? I am back. Also, I already talk your bullshit later on, so please go to the fucking corner and shut the motherfucking ass up.
Who the fuck? Where's that? That's like completely taken out of context. I gotta read that again. Was that Akno? I wasn't paying full attention. Was that Akno that did that? Madonna's saying she wanted to blow it up too. Yeah, like people just get too emotionally wrapped up in politics, like, and you know what's worse is the more emotionally they're wrapped into it, the dumber they are. Like right now, this whole thing that's going on with the abortion case from Mississippi, these women out there taking abortion pills. Like, what is that? What are you trying to prove? That you love killing kids? You know what I mean? What up? I am back. Also, I already, talk your bullshit later.
You are one awesome motherfucker.
Oh, that was meant for Mike? Oh, that was for you, Mike. So he said go to the fucking corner and shut the motherfucker ass up.
$5. That was meant for Mike.
All right, so Mike, there's your message. I think any deal with Iran is a bad look for any president, Mike. Let's put it that way. I look. This is why I'll never become president, because my first order of business for foreign policy, just blow Iran the fuck up. That's it. Problem solved. Go in there, get as many people out of there as you can, innocent people that don't want to live in that kind of world. And just, if I had the power to do that, of course, you can't just walk in there and take people. But look, man, all these problem countries, I'd take one quiet night, okay? multiple missiles, and just find where their headquarters is. I wouldn't nuke them, of course not. You don't want to do that. But I would, kind of like what Reagan did to Gaddafi when he never motherfucker bombed his house. He bombed his house. Reagan was like, all right, we're going to go right to the source. There's not going to be a war. Let's find out where this motherfucker's held up. And when you find it, let me know, and we're going to launch a strike on it. And he did. Now, Gaddafi didn't die, but his sons did, like several of his sons. And the next day, that dude, he surrendered. That's how you got to do it sometimes. Like, you got President Xi talking all this shit. Just find out where he is and drop a bomb on that motherfucker and watch what happens. These motherfuckers will fold real quick. Once you take it right to them, not their factories, right? Not their military or wherever, bombing strategic targets. Go right to the source and drop a big one right on their fucking head. And believe me, you'll see China calm down real quick. And if that don't work, well then, you made a tough choice, so you got to live with it, and you go through with it. But Reagan did it right. Reagan was like, war? Nah, we don't need to do that. Just tell me where he is, and we'll just do it right to him. Yeah, someone did try to assassinate Reagan, but that wasn't politically motivated. That was just some wacko that, I forgot, had to do with a girl or some shit. Thoughts on Kamala's approval ratings? I mean, it's no surprise. Today, the Biden administration would send a few social workers and peaceful protesters to his house. I know. Can we please just be friends? Yeah, that shit don't work. That's what I really do think you should go for President Rob. This is shock factor. I probably would do. See, that's why I can't be president, because I would do some crazy shit like that. I'd be like, look, where's Putin staying? Where's Xi staying? All right, get me the biggest fucking bomb you got and drop it right in their fucking head. I don't care about their weapons factories. I don't care about their naval shipyards. Just show me where they are, and I'll drop it right in their fucking head. He has a YouTube channel now? Wow, that's crazy. Rob, I vote for you in a heartbeat. Forget it. The Democrats would want to kill me. Maybe I would be assassinated. Hey, Rob, how you doing health-wise? Hope you and the family are doing well. I'm doing okay. I haven't been focusing on my health as much as I should, especially over Thanksgiving. I really fucked myself over. But my weight loss has come to a scratching halt. I just haven't. So many things in my life right now have been so inconsistent that it's hard to concentrate on working out and doing stuff like that, because I was very happy working recently, and then my contract ended, so I've been unemployed for the last month. And right now, I don't know what's going on with my unemployment. I don't even think I'm going to get it, even though I made more than enough money to be eligible, but I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to kind of enjoy the holidays and worry about it when the new year turns. Yeah, I'll come in like, President, what's the first order of business? We have some sanctions. I said, sanctions? The fuck sanctions? I said, put the sanctions in this bomb and drop it on that motherfucker's head right now. That's what I would do, man. Do you think Trump would drop a bomb on them too? The answer, I'm assuming, is no, he would have done it. Trump is not a warmonger like people made him out to be. I mean, think about it. Trump extended an olive branch to President or whatever, Kim Jong-un or whatever. I don't know his fucking name. Which was kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's like, don't put that motherfucker on the world stage. Don't legitimize him. But on the other hand, it's like, I got to give him credit for at least trying something. You know what I mean? That's more than any other president has done. You know, I mean, the dude met with him in the middle of what they call that zone in Korea. I forget what it's called. I mean, you know, and yeah, you could argue he did it for photo ops. I mean, what president doesn't do shit for photo ops? Let's be real. You know, let's not pretend like he's the first one to do shit like that. So, Rob, can I be your press secretary? Yeah, Trump, I can't say he completely accomplished peace in the Middle East, but he's probably the closest one to do it. And he had people working against him. You know what I mean? But let's not forget, to be fair, President Trump did want to pull out of Afghanistan too. He had better execution. He had a better plan in place to do it. But that's not to say that it wouldn't have gone well either. What Biden did was just utterly stupid. He just, like, in a minute was like, all right, let's get him out of there, like, right now. There was no progress and steps to getting it done properly, you know? And now you have people trapped over there probably getting killed. The media doesn't talk about it anymore, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. I think the biggest conspiracy, you want to talk about conspiracies, does anybody here know what's going on in Australia? Because if you don't, you're going to be surprised what's going on over there.
You are one awesome motherfucker. Akno Goji tipped $5. Can I be your vice president?
The fuck out of vice president. Akno, how's that going to look? Right? I step up in my inaugurate or during my campaign and I'm like, I nominate this person here who was working in White Castles yesterday to be my running mate. Although I guess that's better than someone unemployed going for president. Oops, I got a Seinfeld myself on that one. Oh man, See, I can be fair. I caught myself out there. Yeah, so Australia is really getting authoritarian. It's kind of scary how rapidly it's changed there. So they are basically putting people in COVID camps. You know, I don't want to say concentration camps. Nobody's getting killed. And I'm not saying it's anything to compare to like what Japanese people went through here or what the Holocaust people went through. Obviously, the people who went through the Holocaust had it the worst. But yeah, they are going around collecting people. And the propaganda coming out of it is insane. Like they showed pictures of women in bikinis at these camps. They show pictures of the rooms and there's like a little care package there and all this. But reports coming out are saying that people are being treated like shit. They're not being fed, and some people are being beaten. And considering 2 young men just recently escaped, and now there's a manhunt for these people, Australia is looking brutally bad. I don't know. That's one country I never expected something like that, you know? But it seems that when this COVID... Now, think about this. About 5 years ago, they completely banned guns. Like, not banned, but they essentially banned guns. Like, nobody there has a firearm anymore. So it's almost like the government there completely took advantage of this. And now they're really flexing their muscles. Rob going to be on Trump's new app, Truth Social. Oh, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I don't really do the Twitter type things. Even Facebook, I hardly... social media is such a horrible thing. It does more harm than good, in my opinion. I think the internet is one of the greatest creations known to man. I think social media is complete opposite. It's like the internet is the wonderful experience that you eat at the restaurant, and social media is the shit you release later on that night. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I see it. Have you ever heard of Warhammer 40K? If so, what do you think about Games Workshop's hatred for fans and being inclusive and safe? Yeah, I have heard of 40 Warhammer. I have. I also understand that they're not the only company like that when it comes to those tabletop games. Wizards of the Coast is heavily into identity politics now. I think that's unfortunate because a lot of people who play those kinds of games don't really give two shits about politics. The problem is that you have a lot of people that are being hand-given these positions in entertainment or in gaming or whatever, and they really don't have the talent. Look at the comic book industry as a prime example of that. Comic books are absolutely garbage now. They are complete trash. And, I mean, I stopped reading comics in the early 2000s, but I know that around 2010, it started getting shit. So, yeah, it sucks. I don't like it. And the best way to change that is you got to stop buying that stuff. But the problem is that, you know, there are people who love doing that. There are people who, I mean, look, if I was as into that stuff, because I know when I love something, it's hard for me to stop doing it. You know what I mean? Like sex, right? I love sex. If my I was gonna say something completely inappropriate, but anyway, my point is that when you're someone who loves the game or loves a certain movie, or like, look, I don't like a lot of shit Disney does, and I was talking about this today on Facebook. I was like, I'm about ready to cancel my Disney Plus for a multitude of reasons. Number one, the content is just bad. There's hardly anything to watch on that channel. And a lot of the stuff that is there to watch is woke. It's overly congested with inclusiveness. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't need to watch that garbage. Like, I love Marvel, and I'm not going to get into a rant about Marvel today. I've done it millions of times in the last couple of streams. What I will say is that company is going in a direction that I'm just not down with. I'm starting to realize that I'm watching a lot of older movies. And when I say older, I don't mean like 50 years ago. I'm talking like 10 years ago. And I'm enjoying them more now than I recall enjoying them back then, simply because they weren't infused with all this messaging and political stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't infused with that stuff. I get more joy out of watching Avengers 2012 than watching, you know, all the recent Marvel shows, by far. Let's move to Norway. I don't have to tell people if I'm vaxxed. Yeah, but Norway is also promoting gay Santa. You weren't here for that one. There was a commercial that came out of Norway. It was like a 3.5-minute commercial. I showed it to everybody here in chat, here on stream. And in that commercial is basically a guy that gets a visit from Santa every year. And every year they have this great time together. At first it starts off pretty innocent, right? It seems like a wholesome thing until there's a part where he writes a letter to Santa. And he writes in the letter, Santa, all I want for you is Christmas, with a little heart at the end. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then after that, it starts to get more obvious where this is going. And it goes there. And it even has them kiss each other at the end of the commercial. Santa kissing another dude. And the only thing I can think to myself is, how many other people during that night where Santa is visiting all these houses to deliver toys to little boys and little girls, how many other dudes, if not kids, got kissed or worse, had their dirt pipe cleaned out? China and Russia are not as close as people in this country make it seem. No, they actually hate each other. Yeah, Russia and China don't like each other. But if Russia and China had to team up to fight us, they'd do it in a heartbeat. So I think that's why people think they're close. But yeah, you're right. They're not close at all. There's also the Immortal Hulk and Thor's new comics that are also good too, and other books as well. Yeah, but that's the exception. That's not the rule anymore. Yeah, you're not missing anything, Reese, but it's terrible. Someone said Norgay. Have you watched any Hunting Hitler yet? No, I haven't got around to watching it yet. Where could I find it again? Yeah, I know you guys told me the other day. Rob, do you think Godzilla could beat the Omicron variant? Well, if you want to know, why don't you ask Omnicron? She's in chat. But why team up to fight us if they hate each other? Because they hate us more? I mean, Japan and Germany weren't exactly friends.
Aknogo
In World War II.
$5. Finally saw Shang-Chi and I like it. What's your opinion on the movie?
I liked the second half of the movie more than anything. First half was give or take for me. Second half was really good because I liked the whole fantasy element. Overall, it was a little bit better than I expected, but I'm still glad I didn't run to the theater to see it. I don't think I would have spent money on that. Nothing can beat me. It is I who beats others. Oh my God. Oh, that's a good one. Very good. There's only one person that can stop Omnicron, and that's Lenny. China and Russia team up. Yeah, that's it. Omnicron strikes again. I know, she's a fresh little girl. Fresh. I think the mastermind behind the Afghan invasion is Wario. Well, keep investigating and let me know what you find. Corona bots. Lenny and King. Oh, I missed it. He took it away. They nerfed the Hulk badly in Endgame in the MCU. I have a script for the final fight in Endgame, and I swapped Hulk for Thor, undoing the snap. It makes more sense narratively. Well, don't pat yourself on the back too hard. Rob looks kind of like Wario minus the yellow hat. Beat autocorrect? Okay. Rob and RFID chips going to get pushed now that this COVID stuff is happening. Yeah, which leads to another conspiracy. Are we at the moment of revelations? Because that RFID chip, and now this is a real thing for those who don't know. I don't know if it's called RFID though, but I know there's a chip being developed, and it's going to start getting pushed hard, where they're trying to push it off as safety. Like, give you an example, or the example that I heard was that with an RFID chip, a cop, for example, who pulls you over, can use that chip to gather all your information. You know, he can just come by, scan, and walk back, and he doesn't have to sit there or stand there, be put in a position where he can get harmed, whatever. Safety, you know what I mean? So you guys heard the mark of the beast, right? So interestingly enough, in the Bible, when Revelation, when they talk about like the mark of the beast and all that, a lot of people link that with this whole chip thing. And the reason is because in the Bible, it says that you will not be able to buy goods. You will not be able to shop. You will not be able to be and I'm paraphrasing here. It's not word for word. It's not like I read the Bible all the time, but this is a very popular scripture in the book of the Bible, so everybody more or less knows it. So you won't be able to be part of society without the chip. So the Bible says, and those who can participate will have the mark of the beast, which is where this chip comes in. So
are one
where's
awesome
Jesus?
motherfucker.
Jesus came and was like, yo, you guys are fucked. I'm out. Come on, man. We got a gay Santa.
Akno
I mean-
Goji tipped $5. I can lick and eat a lot wings LOL.
Wait, what? I can lick and eat a lot of wings. Oh my God, Omnicron, you're getting flirted on by Acno. Look, I wanna be very clear about this. All right. Omni is very sweet. She's very funny, and she's a huge flirt. And she'll say just as raunchy things as any of us guys. But Acno, don't get that twisted for you thinking you have a remote chance. Okay? She's likely to chop your dick off and shove it in your ear than to go anywhere near it for any sexual pleasure. Okay? I can smell Acno's breath all the way from here. He put he put it in reverse and went back up and said peace out. Yep. Hey Chris, he handed the reins to Michael Bay to save us. And you know what he's gonna use to save us? Splosions. Lots of splosions. Will you do the Iraq WMD lie by the Bush administration? Well, there's no conspiracy to that. We all found out it was a lie, so the conspiracy's over. And we kind of did invade, not 7 countries, but quite a few of them. Iraq, Afghanistan. What are some other ones? I mean, it's not invasion per se. At least it's not made to look like it. Blow it all the fuck up. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. LOL. I know. You got to take it easy. Remember, Omni. There's still a lot of horny toads in here. I believe Wendigoon did a whole conspiracy video about JFK. He has a whole series about it. Yeah, it's a deep dive, man. I mean, I was looking at it today and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I should have probably planned this out better. But I still thought, I mean, after talking about the rundown, even with all the information that's out there, I still think it was government. I do believe there's a good chance it was government related. And I do think it had a lot to do with how he ran or what he was going to legislate, you know, on top of some of the other things he wanted to do. Destabilizing an entire region that still affects us to this day. Yeah, that whole Middle East is fucked, man. That's just... The problem is that you can't ignore it, because if you do, it gets out of control. It gets worse. That somebody will come in and start running shit and get crazy. This is why the Afghan retreat was a horrible decision, because now the Taliban and all those motherfuckers are back, you know? And they have access to even better gear than they had years ago. You know what I mean? Looks like our country has new ways of making money. Yeah. Well, you know. Are you talking about like the government, or are you talking about like people? Because if you talk about people, then yeah, that's why I'm into crypto. The Bible even said, when the time comes, we head to the mountains, leave everything behind, and ignore all of those that say to look in the direction claiming Christ had come, because it's not him. Yeah. I will say this, though. I don't think most people would believe it. Like, if somebody actually came out and said, I am Christ, I don't think people would buy it. Unfortunately, I don't think people would buy it if it was the real Christ. You know what I'm saying? I mean, collectively, mankind's minds are so twisted right now. We believe things that are not true, and we call things lies that are facts. Oh, you're talking about vaccines. Yeah. Now they're pushing out 2 boosts. And I got to be honest with you.
You are one awesome motherfucker.
I mean, I took the vaccine and I still got COVID. You know, could it have been worse without it? Probably.
Akno Goji tipped $5. I was kidding, LOL.
We know you were kidding. But you still grossed out on me. I think she threw up in her bra. What's going on, Tarnell? My bad, I come off fake sometimes. No, it's all good. It's all good, Chris. I'm not getting a I'm not getting a booster. Had COVID, then got vaccinated. I'm good for now. Yeah, look. Like this, look, it's already been out there that this new variant is not harmful. It's not. Right now, as it stands, in terms of the people who've gotten infected and what the lady who discovered this variant said, and she even said later on, she said, had I known that this was going to cause this kind of commotion, I would have never said anything because we've had other variants. It's not uncommon. It's just that they're not a threat. She was like, this one, I only mentioned it because it had a high transmission rate, but after we studied those who had it and how their symptoms were, it's not really anything to worry about. It's negligible. But not the world governments, man. Lockdowns for years, man. And President Biden already said, he was asked about, are we going to lock down again because of the new variant? He said, not if everybody gets vaccinated. So you know what that means, lockdown time. And they'll use that to further alienate people because now what they're going to say is, well, we wouldn't lock down if all these anti-vaxxers would get vaccinated, which is just going to cause more people to conflict with each other. It's going to be a fucking mess. LBJ? People will flock to, yeah, there will be people who flock to it, Steve. That is true. COVID is not going away, and people need to deal with it and consider it another. Yeah, it's just, look, it's a new flu. We were overdue for an upgrade, all right? Let's just look at it that way. Or they just may try to enforce mandates for everyone. Yeah, they're trying that, but so far Biden's been struck down by multiple courts across the nation. But Lyndon B. Johnson, okay, yeah. But that's not going to stop him, I'm not going to get vaxxed, even if that means quitting my job. Yeah, like I said, I already got vaxxed. I mean, I got it before it even became an issue. Like, I question myself, would have I gotten it? Nah, I think I still would have gotten it. I got nothing. Look, it's a medical miracle. I think for the most part it does work. Just because I caught COVID doesn't mean the vaccine didn't work. It might have saved my life, for all I know. But do I need more? I mean, at this point, I've been vaccinated. I have antibodies. What more protection do I need? And now the desperation for them to get people poked is really starting to concern me. Once you start trying to force people to do something, especially health related, I'm not feeling too comfortable with that.
Akno Goji tipped $5. Also dumped my girlfriend, so have you thought about find Akno a girlfriend stream?
Yeah, but not tonight, Akno. We'll do that, sometime in the future. See, you should have taken me up on my offer the first time. Now you got to wait. I'm worried about the boosters. I hope the college that I'm in doesn't mandate it. In the Constitution, you cannot use power as a king unless anything gets voted passes by Biden. Yeah. It sucks to have a phobia of needles. We should send him to a bar. I see them presenting a new vaccine for this new strain eventually if it spreads like COVID. Ka-ching. It's going to spread. Look, it's more transmissible. And think about how transmissible the prior two were. So this is like a guaranteed you're getting it. Like you can walk out, it's so nice out, nobody's around. Take a deep breath, got COVID. That's how it's going to work. Have you actually dumped your girlfriend, Akno, or did you just try to sue you again? It's a good time to have that phobia low-key. How about those gas prices? Oh, my God. Don't get me started on that shit. What's even funnier is almost all gas pumps across the nation have that Biden sticker where he's like, I did this. That's like all over the country. I saw it for the first time like a month ago. And I remember I sent a picture to like Cosner, Omni, I think Millennial Yoda, a couple of other people. And then next thing you know, they started popping up pictures with it too. And I'm like, oh shit, this is across the country. I found a triple last week. Oh, so you found 3 of them? Yeah. Michael Gonzalez, Hitler didn't kill himself. Yeah, it is. Like, I think I still have the picture. Hold on. Actually, I should have it because I sent it to you guys on Facebook. Oh, Tyler, sorry. So I'll hold on, Tyler. When do you send it? Because it's not showing up here either. Let me see if it actually went through. Because I have the settings. Like, you can still tip $1. It's just not going to pop up, but I'll still get the message. But your message didn't even come in. So it may not have gone through. Give me a second. Oh, what? That's weird. How did I miss that? Oh, no, it's right here. I found 4 women who that carpet muncher and grapefruits raped, molested and threatened, punched them in the face. I'll tell you, this is President Donald Trump. Punch him in the face, I'll tell you. By the way, I need to find that guy who took out JFK and hire him for a special mission regarding a child pedophile. Yeah. Sorry, that's out of context because that was like a half hour ago. I forgot what we were talking about a half hour ago. Oh, yes, of course. We were talking about the oh my God. The Santa. Because I was mentioning how he would go around and potentially butt rape kids, which is horrible, but you know, hey. You know what I'm saying? Shit's crazy. $4 a gallon? Jeez. At least it's cheaper than milk out there. He made it to Argentina, and there's an actual photo of him down there. Bro, $10 only fills my car up to a quarter of a tank. I haven't filled my gas tank up in a month. I haven't drove my car since I lost my job. I should probably move it tomorrow. It's like, well, I'm not going to drive it now. I'm not going to try and be getting gas, so. A conspiracy on the Gulf of Tonkin incident that allowed Congress to give Lyndon B. Johnson the power to go into Vietnam. Never even heard of that conspiracy. Sounds like another deep dive, so I'm going to pass on that one. Rob, do you think it will get better next year? No. Unfortunately, it's not going to get better until there's a new president. Well, that's not true. I think what's going to happen is it'll get stagnant around this time next year because once we have the midterms, and I'm pretty sure the Republicans are probably going to gain the House and the Senate, which means nothing's going to happen for 2 years. Everything Biden tries to put through is not going to go through, which is a good thing. But unfortunately, you know, he's the one that spearheads legislation, and I don't see him changing anything right now. If things keeps going the way, I won't be able to go to work for prices keep going up. I drive an hour to work and an hour back. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. I think a cool conspiracy right now to discuss is who's the one calling the shots behind Biden. What do you guys think? China? Nah, if it was China, it would be a lot worse than it is. You have rhinos in the House and Senate too. That's fine though. 4, 5, or 6 rhinos cannot pass legislation. I'll tell you right now, they're going to need a lot more. It's not going to be a close Congress. It's going to be I think it's going to be a pretty big flip. Literally Hitler, a cabal of the globalists, a reptilian, China, Kamala. She's not that smart. We're getting that social credit system. Yeah, I think they have that in Israel now. They're like the second country to do it. Of course, Israel's run by Democrats now, so. Well, their version of Democrats, leftist. Nancy Pelosi, Satanist. There was. What was I watching? Somebody named a person that was making legislation on behalf of Biden. I forgot the guy's name. Yeah. Robert McNamara. Yeah. The Gulf of Tonkin. Where's that documentary at, Reese? At some point, the world is going to say enough is enough to all the governments. I mean, I think they have. The problem is that the governments control the military. And while you would think militaries would favor civilians, there's a lot of military people who are trained to follow orders no matter what. And many of them will follow those orders. You have to understand, the cops out there that are good, the military personnel out there that are good are all quitting. The ones that are staying are the ones you got to worry about. Yes, he did shut down the pipeline. That's why the prices went up. Rob, I bought the DVD for it several years ago. I don't know where you can. Oh, yeah. What's it called again? The Fog of War? Let me see. It's on YouTube, actually. Let me see where else it's at. It's on YouTube, Google Play, which is like YouTube. It's on Apple. Oh, it's on Amazon Prime. Oh, let's check out Amazon Prime. I think it says it's $3.99 on Amazon Prime, so it might be worth picking that up. Let's see. Yeah, The Fog of War came out in 2003, and it's $3.99 to rent. Okay, I'll put that on my watch list. Cool. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt was a pretty good president. He was actually kind of the opposite of JFK in the sense that he was a Republican, but he was very much progressive. He was leaned more liberal for a Republican, but that didn't make him bad at the time. In fact, he kind of like JFK. He was a good balance, because not all social ideas, not all progressive ideas are bad, You talk about Jim Kelly, Chris? Yeah, Jim Kelly. You don't remember Jim Kelly? Takes me $40 to fill my tank halfway. I want to die. Well, you will if you stay in New York. Yeah, they even said that. I think it was Pete Buttigieg. They were talking to him about the raising prices in gas and all that, and he was like, paraphrasing here, but basically he said just drive electric cars. It's like, really? That's your answer, you motherfucker? Like, some of these politicians' answers when you watch them on the news is just completely disconnected from the majority of this country. It's insane. Like, I sit there and I'm like, how could you just say that blatantly like that? Like, there's not going to be any consequence. And maybe there won't be. Maybe that's why they're saying it so confidently. Maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they know that they're not going anywhere no matter what. Time to start riding bikes? Yeah, well, that's a problem for me because I don't know how to ride one. I never learned. I went from walking to driving. Yeah, I know. That's the whole thing. I mean, electric cars are like 40 grand to start. I mean, I'd like to own a Tesla one day. Don't get me wrong, but let's not get crazy now. Yeah. I mean, he didn't say it just like that, but he had that. Put it like this. I'm basically translating the political jargon into real English. And basically what he said was just buy an electric car. I think the cheapest Tesla is like 50 grand. Why do you think there hasn't been water-powered cars yet? Yeah. Hydropower is very possible. A Tesla can go from 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds. If they do, I don't know anything about that. Steam-powered cars. Why don't we just get horse and buggies again? Yeah, I think electric cars are good. I think they're a good option for those who want to be more, less dependent on carbon fuel, but it shouldn't be the standard. I know, right? Let's become Amish. Yo, the Amish are good. If this country turns to shit, the Amish are going to be the ones ahead of everybody else. We need to start. You know what, guys? Honestly, though, and all jokes aside, we need to start like training how to survive. Seriously, like we have a tight knit group here. We always have. We actually need to come up with a plan. So when shit hits the fan, we all meet up somewhere in the mountains of West Virginia or something, and just build a small community. And learn. We need to learn how to survive. Like we should have a stream where we actually plan this. Like we'll all assign certain assignments to each other. Yeah, and if we run out of food, well, I better lose weight then because I'm full of steaks and chops. You guys will munch on me real quick. We call it, we'll just call it the Nation. It won't even be just called the Nation. Yeah, John, you got to get out of Hawaii, dude. And I'm not talking about because, like, not only because of the crazy shit that's going on, but Hawaii's like, that's an island, dude. Volcanoes and shit. I don't want to see you, like, burn to ash or sink in the water. You know what? I'm going to put up a poll. my characters are limited, so. No, let me not do that because motherfuckers will. All right. There you go. There's the poll. I'm being dead serious, by the way, because, you know, power in numbers, strength in numbers. Well, I don't have to worry about women. I'm married. So. Yeah, we could do like on one of our unplanned streams, like Friday or Saturday. We can just have 2 hours where we talk about where we would meet up when shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? You press yes in this. Oh, that means you're denied. Sorry. Yeah, you can't get a gun in New York, Jim. I don't know what the fuck you're going to do. I'm 5 hours away from West Virginia, by the way. It's a big shift, but if push comes to shove, yeah, I'm in. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but then again, it really isn't crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been talking to a lot of you guys for a long time. And if shit hits the fan, you got to be with people you know, and you got to have plans. You know, but we also have to take time, at least 2 hours a week, to learn something. How to cultivate, how to fire a gun, how to kill like wild animals. Does anybody here have hunting experience? Underground community, Rob, make a city, wait for everything to blow over, give the earth time to heal. We can start from scratch. Yeah, but see, underground city costs a lot of money. See, all 50, let's just say 30 of us are down, and 30 of us are real serious. 30 of us can more than come up with enough money to buy a farm. Easily. I mean, by the time this shit happens, I can cash in my Bitcoin. I'll probably have enough money to buy one myself. You fished several times? That's more than me. I've hunted the food cabinet. These fucking guys. Rob, you should do a no-shirt stream. Nah, I don't want to make Omni jealous because I probably have bigger tits than she does. I don't want to do that. I don't want to alienate the one female we have in chat. Axe fighting, melee combat, phalanx, battle tactics, and save many books. Yes, especially the Bible. I know, I don't think she heard that. She would respond by now. She tends to step away a lot, so I might have snuck that one in there. Shit hits the fan stream for Rob Talks. That's a possibility. Rob, now if this is pulled off, I don't want you going all Jim Jones on. No, I'm not even going to like consider myself the leader walking in. I mean, that's something that has to be voted on. I think the most important books to have are the Bible, hunting books, survival books, and books for entertainment. No, she wouldn't be the only female. There'd be other females. Some of us here have wives, you know. I mean, none of you are touching my wife, obviously. Not even for the benefit of procreation. That shit ain't happening. I'll fucking chop your dicks off. Well, we don't have to worry about cooking. I can cook. And you want to know how serious I am? I actually know how to can. With mason jars, I know how to can food for preservation. I learned how to do it. So that's one survival skill I have. I can can food. Actually, I'm kind of upset she missed my joke because I think she would have laughed. I'll bring my manga. These motherfuckers like manga collection. All right, yeah. Who's bringing the PS5, right? Come on, guys. This is survival. What do you do if Acno shows up? He's not going to show up because I'm not telling him where we're going. Oh, that's right. He listens to the streams, doesn't he? Well, he shows up, we'll just kill him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure Acno has some use. Acno, I know you're there, and if you can't answer, that's fine because I know it costs you money. But if you can't answer, what skill set could you bring to a survival community of the nation? Yeah, we'll need generators, but more than anything, we'll need a way to find sustained electricity. Because the problem with generators is fuel. Solar panels is good, Javier. That's a good idea. All right, Nicholas, take it easy. What is shit hits the fan? Oh, that's right. Acno can be the spiritual leader. He can astral project. Maybe he can astral project and find us water and electricity. I actually have some books on that. I'm mildly a prepper, and I say mild because I don't go and spend my money on it really. But like for example, like I have a whole like prep kit in my wife's car, which is mainly for her. I made this for her when she was pregnant, so it had like non-perishable foods in it. Had a self car jumper, so she wouldn't have to ask anybody. It just plugs into the thing, and you can charge the car. Puts air in the tire. Had a bunch of other shit in it. Blankets, thermal blankets, all this shit. I was like so overly like protective when my wife was pregnant. The only problem with that, Chris, is where we're going to find the person to engineer that. I don't know if there's too many scientists in this group. Agno will be our hitman for rival colonies. He can just face through the astral world and into the physical. Yeah, that's true. He can be like the assassin. In theory, if there is an apocalypse, would we revert to the Dark Ages? I can blacksmith and tell stories. We can play D&D if needed. I'll gladly be the wizard or sage. D&D is a great game to have during the apocalypse because you could just come up with campaigns left and right. Or we can we can let Acno let his hair grow long, right? He could be like the community whore. Because there's not, like you guys said, there's not going to be a lot of women, so you guys are going to need something. Just take it out on Acno's ass. Oh, that's true. Mr. L can spearhead the defenses. He's got military experience. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, bug out food that's very. All you just gotta do is buy non-perishable foods. Obviously shit like meats and all that you don't do, but rice, grains, oats, all that shit, canned goods. I'd rather die a virgin. Well, you don't have to. If you're not down with the Acno idea, I'm sure there's a couple of tree trunks with holes in it. Just put a little of that maple syrup and a little bit of lube, and you're good to go. Nah, man, I'd rather scavenge flashlights, bro. I'm not touching Acno. Yeah, you definitely can't go wrong with rice. What happened if Steam is coming? Steam? Who the hell are you talking about Steam?
You are one awesome motherfucker.
Yeah, you can get powdered milk, I guess, but I never really tried powdered milk. Like, does it last long as powder?
Acno Goji tipped $5. Watching another stream also. I can't astro project. My ex can astro project, not me.
Oh, well, then you're useless. This is starting to sound like The Walking Dead to me. Yeah, but look on the bright side. There won't be any zombies as far as we know. Trapping would be a good... Yeah, trapping... And trapping's not that hard to learn. Like, I've seen it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm sure it takes a lot of practice. But essentially, get a bunch of big rocks and I think you tie the bait to a stick. So that way when the whatever pulls on the bait, it just. But you're only gonna catch small game like field mice, squirrels, and shit like that. But still, I mean, in those situations. Trust me, Jonathan. I think most islands eat a lot of rice. Us Puerto Ricans, we don't have one dish that doesn't have rice in it. Oh, Acno can be in charge of garbage disposal. That's true. It's kind of like working at White Castles anyway. Trapping, you mean whipping a brick? Cosner, where the fuck are you coming from with that? You never heard of trapping? Building a trap to catch small game? How was the conspiracy stuff tonight? I did a few projects in college about JFK's assassination, crazy stuff. Yeah, it was good. I mean, we only spoke about it for like a half hour, 45 minutes tops. Now we're talking about
you are one awesome motherfucker.
Building a community when shit hits the fan. So we're all going to get together and just start over.
Acno Goji tipped $5. I guess our power source can be water.
Yeah, if we can find a scientist that knows about hydro electrical whatevers. Watch some Survivor, man. I think Lestra has uploaded the series on YouTube for free. Rob, watch Alone. It's a survival. Oh, I love Alone. That's the one where they drop the people on a random spot and they got to survive as long as they can to win the money. Dude, that show's awesome. I still think the first season's the best season. I remember that guy that tried to filter water with moss and he got sick. I mean, I shouldn't laugh. He definitely knows more about survival than me. But when he did that, I'm like, so you're going to try and filter water with dirty plant moss? Like, how is this possible? At this rate, we better move fast on this community. Yeah, I'm actually serious. Like, I'm not joking. I mean, we're joking about it now, but I'm kind of serious. I'm not kind of, I am. I mean, a larger group has a much better chance working things and making things work than, like, just 4 people. Oh, see, I haven't seen the one where the guy took out a moose. The problem with me watching Alone is that different streaming services have different seasons, and if I'm not paying for that service, then I can't watch it. Learn from the tribes as well. Yeah, archery. You got to learn archery. My sister knows how to shoot an arrow, but I don't know if she would join the community. I think more importantly, learning how to shoot an arrow is learning how to make an arrow, fletching. If anyone knows how to fletch. Let's build a pyramid out of limestone, recreate history. Oh yeah, that's like mad deep. I think. Yeah, see, I haven't seen beyond, I think, season 3. I have a hard time finding the other seasons, but it is a great show. There was one guy in season 1 that I heard returned. I wanted to watch that season because that one guy almost won the first season, and I wanted to see if he would come back and actually win that season. But we will also know how to build homes and make clothing. Yeah, making clothing, finding ways to, like, bathe, that's important because, you know, you don't want your thighs rotting off from crotch crud. Got to wash out the crotch crud. Got to clean your ass, otherwise it's going to hurt to sit. Oh, they're all on Hulu? Oh, well, in that case, you know what it is? I have Hulu. I never watch it because there's really nothing on there I like. I didn't know it was on Hulu. Oh, fuck that, man. I'm going on a binge of Alone. That's just Canada. I know what I could do. I could be a baker. I know how to make bread, bagels, and more. That's actually good. That is really good. And I have iron cast pots and pans. So, I mean, they're heavy, but that's the kind of shit you use out in the wilderness. And we need to learn how to build a fire. I think the best thing to do would be to ultimately stash a shitload of like flint, because it's not expensive. And if everybody buys flint like once a month, we'll have a fuckload of flint, enough to last us until we learn how to start a fire on our own. They're doing 8 now or just finished it. Not 100% sure. We can go Sims on this survive. What? We can go Sims on this survive? We can't play Sims if we're surviving, Bobby. There's not gonna be any computers. Oh, a medic. That's important. Damn, do I know anybody in the medical field? Damn, I don't think I do. My aunt, the one that was in my Thanksgiving video, who I said was 96 years old, she knows medical stuff. She's worked in the medical field. I think she's a registered nurse. And my cousin, she's a massage therapist. Now, I don't know how much that would help. Rob, would you be fine with starting over on an island? I don't know. That could be tough, man. You're talking about now we got to protect from like crazy storms and heat exhaustion. And in the mountains, I mean, yeah, it gets super cold, but it never gets overly hot.
You are one awesome motherfucker.
You'll help with food. Omni, were you here for my joke?
Akno Goji tipped $5. I guess we can go back to old days by hunting animals with bows and arrows and spears and drinking from river, streams and lakes.
There's nothing old about that. People still do that, Akno. There's actually people who do hunt with bows and arrows. You'll help eat the food? Motherfucker, you'll be the first one to get banished. We need tank and DPS and support. Motherfucker, this ain't fucking World of Warcraft. Oh, Omni, somebody in chat asked me to do a topless stream, and I said that I would, but I don't want to get you jealous with my tits being bigger than yours. Everybody found it pretty comical. I told him I didn't want to alienate you like that. I can make mead. We have alcohol. Or someone can make, moonshine. That'd be great. Now, here's an important question. Who will be the first to bite the dust? Whoever doesn't... Well, we have to establish laws and rules, right? First law and first rule. Everybody follows the laws and the rules. I would be jealous. Well, look on the bright side. There's hairs on my tits. I don't think too many guys find that appealing. We need medicine, medical supplies. Yeah, definitely need that. There's a lot to take in because, this figure, I mean, even if we get half of the people that are on stream to be down with this. Omni, you missed it. When I first started discussing this idea, you know what most people in chat were saying? They're saying you'd be the only female there. You know what that means, right? You better wear a chastity belt, girl. Motherfuckers are coming for you. First rule of Roblandia. Roblandia. It's not Roblandia. We're just going to call it the nation. Acno would be the first one gone. He'd be too busy watching fairy tales. We'd have to buy or have a big cabin built, enough for 25 people minimum. That's a lot. That's a big place. Acton would be the first one gone. He'd be too busy watching fairy tales. Law number 2, everyone must consent. Yeah, I don't think the ladies are going to go for that. Look, put it this way. By the time this happens, if you motherfuckers don't have a girlfriend or are at least married or at least have a girlfriend, hey, you're on your own. You're on your own. Some of you just going to have to be butt lovers, I guess. I don't know. I know it sounds crazy now, but give it a few years into the apocalypse. You'll be ready to take someone's ass. A valley would be a good location, especially if we have a mountain to our back. Then we only have to worry about one direction for defense. That's why I think going into the mountains is a good idea. But a valley would be great because then you're also talking about the potential for fresh water. Cosner, you're going to be ready to take it in the ass? Is that what you're talking about? Cosner's going to come out 3 years later out of the cabin. He's going to be like,
It is time to finish the fight.
I'll take my chance with my hand. Yeah, I guess that's, that's the fallback. Nah. Actually, Omni would just bring her boyfriend. Omni got a boyfriend now, so she's good. Rob, why don't we all go to Australia? You could tell Cosner wasn't here for most of the stream. So, let me get this straight, Cosner. You think during a moment where shit's hitting the fan, and we all got to collectively meet up and get to work, we're all going to have time to get on a plane and fly to Australia? And everything's going to be okay during that moment? Look, here's rule number 2. The nation will not have Cosner there because he went to Australia. So let's see what this poll said. So it's 94% yes, 6% no. So a great majority of you are down. And like I said, I'm really serious. Rob, for next week, could we do COVID origin conspiracies? That's going to be like 5 minutes, dude. We all know where it started. Come on now. Nobody knows you like yourself, Steve. I get it. What happens if we start getting possessed by demons in the cabin? All right, rule number 3 of the nation. Jason Herr is not to be invited. China, stream over. Yeah, I know. Australia will host every single animal that can kill you. Why go there? No shit, right? Because that's Cosner's brain, okay? That's Cosner's brain. It just doesn't function like everybody else's. And I don't necessarily mean that as a good thing. Rob, will nukes be there? If we could find a silo to launch a nuke, yeah. I'd hope to find... Oh, you talk about like nuke the... No, man, come on. He don't even know who we are. Would there be one door out of here in case in one of the decided said I'm out? You're asking me if there's going to be a door for people to leave if they want to leave? Yes, Bobby. There will be many doors. Cosner's mind is in another dimension right now. Yeah, he's... There's actually some companies that have bought out silos, oat silos, and built underground bunkers out of them for preppers to buy. I mean, we can go that route too. We could take the easy way out, but I don't know. Like, those prepping bunkers are expensive, and they only hold like 4 people. That means we'd have to put in a lot of money for us to buy a small underground community. What is this pill that is popping out? Oh, so I just came up with an idea for, since we all tend to get together like every day or every stream, it might not be a bad idea for us to literally get together when shit hits the fan and just build a community. 50 heads are better than 1. Well, yeah, they can hold up to a lot more than 4 people, but what I'm saying is they tend to be sold for families of 4. So, and you're looking at like $1 million for 4 people. So if you want to take 25 people there, you're looking at like $25 million. Means we would all have to come up with like $5 million apiece. I'm sure we could all come up for money for one family, and then we can just all fight it out, Joker style. We're gonna have tryouts. That's what I'm saying. That's why you buy the land and do it yourself. Now, I want to take a more advanced approach. I like to buy the land that already has a place for us to, That's why you would break into it. So now Mike wants to start a war. Like, they're not prepared for that. Like we come knocking, we're taking your oh shit. Oh. I'll tell Mike. I'll be like, Mike, go first. We're right behind you, Mike. Yeah, you missed it. The stream starts at 8 and ends at 10. You're asking me, did I miss Conspiracy Thursdays at 10 o'clock, which is right around the time the stream ends. Please, next time you come to a stream, bring a brain. Atlas bunkers, if we all pitch in and buy several bunkers or even a dozen, connect them to each other, and they bury them somewhere in the mountains. Oh, you're talking about, is Atlas bunkers the one that make the, they use a shipping containers? Is that the one I'm thinking about? Yeah, Mike's the first one in. Kaza, I wouldn't talk because you're like a couple of computer chips short of a Nintendo. I think it's pretty safe to say if we had to sacrifice anyone first, it would be Acno, Mike, and WTF. And Cosner. I'm throwing Cosner in the mix there. Would money still be valuable in the apocalypse? Gold would be valuable. So we'd have to build a treasury. So start investing in gold, guys. You don't have to start, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Just put in like $1 a week. I would last a lot longer. Oh, here we go. Mike's a survivalist. I didn't know this. We find out new things about Mike every day. He would survive a lot longer than James in the wild. Our flag for the communities would be Wheaties. Yeah, but we can't make it that obvious. It has to be an orange flag with a W. Can we save gorillas? Have them live with us? No. Do you want to die? And last time I checked, there's no gorillas in the United States mountains. I think we have to go to Africa for that. Just saying. Shit hits the fan. Canada, come on now. I said I want to survive. Sorry, Aldophonic, and you're going to have to come to us. I bring my brain, but I left it in sulfuric acid for a bit. I know. Bigfoot is in the mountains? Well, then we have plenty of meat to eat, don't we? I don't see them up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We got wild shit, though, I'm sure, yeah. We'd be like Tarzan hanging out with the gorillas. No, you'll be like Tarzan hanging out with the gorillas. And when you piss one of them off and get your balls ripped off and your fucking face ripped off, and then they pound your chest in, then you'll wonder, well, you'll no longer wonder why I forbade having gorillas on our premises. Free healthcare? Yeah, it's called don't have any sicknesses. If there was an apocalypse, I would die. I'd rather die than suffer every day to live. Well, that's why you build a community, so you don't suffer alone. Yeah, gorillas are gentle until you piss them off. I wouldn't trust Bigfoot meat if they were related to humans. Well, what are you going to eat? Tree trunk bark? The best place to be would be an abandoned suburb. Okay, so how long do we have to wait before the suburb is abandoned? And how long before somebody comes through, finds out we're there, and tries to take our shit? This is why you go somewhere in the wilderness. Rob, we will be allies then.
We
will trade and go to war if anyone fucks with us. All right. I mean, I don't know how far West Virginia is from where you are in Canada.
Akno Goji tipped $5. Nah, if were to kill me, I wouldn't go down without a fight.
You wouldn't go down without a fight, but you still wouldn't survive. Rob, I feel like you're starting a utopian community, and I want in. Yep. And I'm secretly setting you guys up for like being part of a cult. So you'll no longer be able to choke your girlfriend, Cosner. That's going to be my job as your supreme leader. Let's eat the gorillas. You could do that. Well, if you prepare the town and have defense, I don't think being in an old suburb is the best idea. I really don't think, because that, you know what? A lot of people are going to think that because a lot of people are going to be accustomed to their way of living. So that's a lot of people are going to try that. I don't think that's a good idea at all. Rob, are you starting up New Eden because it sounds like it? Yes, but you're not invited, so. Well, we have to vote. To be fair, we have to vote. So if people vote you in, you know what? Let's do a vote if we're going to have the Monkey Man be part of the nation community. We're going to end this poll.
Awesome motherfucker.
4% no, 95 and 43 votes.
No Goji tipped $5. I will survive.
All right, the Monkey Man. Let's see what everybody says about bringing you into the nation survival community. Here we go. There it is, guys. It's up. There you go. Holy shit. That shit just jumped to 67% no. Damn. People are like, fuck no. Oh, 58% no. Somebody has a heart. Oh, never mind. 61%. I'm going to have to give him an ocular pat down first. Oh. He'll just be sitting in the corner by himself watching. 65% no. It's gone up again. Dang, what about me? What about you? What do you bring to the table? He'll just be sitting in the corner. Well, I got to say, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Well, it's at 69. I spoke too soon. Let's go after animals in zoos for food. That's a good start. So you want to, so on the way to the nation survival community, you want to stop at a zoo and get animals and what? Pilgrimage them back to the community? You know how hard that's going to be? 70% no. Rabbits, geese, turkeys. 69 nice. Porque. Yeah. All right, after this poll, we're going to call it. An apocalypse happening soon is like 2.5%, which is somewhat high. Yeah. But just finished watching the movie 1917, and I got to say it's really good. Have you seen it? No, I haven't seen it yet. Wait, 1917? Did I see that one? No, I'm getting that confused with Dunkirk. Hawkeye rant. Yeah, you should have seen it yesterday. Oh, you wanted my Hawkeye rant. Oh. Well, I'm not going to do it now. I got to end the stream. Rob, who'd be the first not to make it back to the moving vehicle on time? Probably me, my fat ass. Wait until all animals escape from the zoo when shit hits the fan. Yeah. I don't even give a shit about the CGI. It's a TV show. Let's make a poll on whether Rob should go full mustache and get the Wario hat. I think we should do a poll about whether or not when you arrive at the community, we all kill you. WTF be like, yo, I'm here. And everybody tosses their spear at him. Motherfucker just got, he looks like a porcupine. Like everyone in the community just launched their spear at the motherfucker. Like, good. And then I come out and I'm like, meat's back on the menu, boys. Likely most of those animals will quickly be killed off. See my wife come in from the kitchen. Do you guys want steak or chops? Automatic public stoning session commences. No, you don't want to stone him because then you squish the meat. You got to spear him. Cannibal tribe. Well, hey, after some time without, meat, I mean, someone's got to be the sacrifice, right? We dine on WTF. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. The nation. I can imagine some of the ladies, too, will be so wild. Like, you can imagine Omni coming out with, like, blue paint on her face. Like, she's the one that actually chops him up. Omni's like the community butcher. Oh, man. Cannibal Tribe Nation, E.T.N. Yeah, so that way we'll be like, you ever seen the season 3 of, what was it, season 4 or 5 of The Walking Dead, Terminus? So we can have the flag instead of the W, it'll be CTN. So when we get new people come in, they'll be like, oh, what's CTN stand for? Can't disclose that information until you're actually part of the community. But they'll never get there because we end up like baking them. Or no, we'll keep the woman, right? Unless she's fat. If she's fat, then we keep her for steaks and chops. We take all the men, keep the men that are in good shape. We want them to work. But if there's fat dudes, steaks and chops. We got to think about steaks and chops. What about his legs? He don't need those. My eyes are filled with tears. You need genuine farms with cows, roosters, chickens, and pigs and horses. Reese, that's too complicated. We'll just herd people. There'll be plenty of survivors out there looking for a place to live. We'll give them hope and then chop them up and serve them with some, some tree leaves or something. For the horde. Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's like years pass and we are missing teeth, and we kind of look at those guys, those crazy people in Wrong Turn. Those cannibals that after a while they just look all fucked. Like, we don't even learn how to speak English anymore. Like, I roll up and I'm like, and then all you motherfuckers know exactly what I'm saying, and you're like, oh my God.
You are one awesome motherfucker.
Oh, man. Where the fuck are we going with these streams sometimes?
$5. That means you be the first one to go because of all your meat.
No, I'm running the show, dude. You crazy. Just for that, that's blasphemy. You would get killed on the community for that. Oh, man. Currently 4 degrees Celsius in Toronto, Canada. Looks like beach weather to me. People say that Canada is full of nice people, and it is to an extent, but the amount of road rage here is insane. Don't worry, Robin. That's not exclusive to Toronto. I can tell you that right now. Unga punga punga. Hasha de Brakada. Rob, you're sounding like a minion from the movie Despicable Me. Hey, whatever it takes to communicate 10 years into the apocalypse, man. I think it's a good thing I'm not invited to. Yeah, see? This has to be one of the most random, batshit crazy streams. And here's the thing. I'm not joking about what I presented earlier. It just, you know how these streams go. We just take it into a whole different direction. We got a little crazy. It is Entertainment Talk Nation. We're here to entertain each other, and that's what we do. But I do think it's something we should consider, honestly. So what happens to me? You know what? We'll make you like the jester. You know what I mean? You're just there to entertain us, and if you don't entertain us, then we hang you by your scrotum. Robbie, like, not saved, just under new management. Let's build an arena so we can all fight for dominance. Well, we could build an arena just for entertainment. We don't have to fight for dominance. I'm definitely entertained, that's for sure. All right. Well, unfortunately, the stream has to come to an end. I got kids to put on a bus in the morning and a dog to walk. So, but we'll be back tomorrow night. We can continue the conversation then if you guys want. Or we can, we'll do, you know how these streams go. We never, they're unpredictable. Rob will be like Caesar's Legion from Fallout. Yeah, I guess. Where we don't just eat real food, we also eat humans. That's a great slogan. The Robaceum? Oh, Jesus Christ. Card readings. Look at Severio. He's starting to sound like Acno when he's like, nukes. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We'll be back here. All right, you guys.